Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
What do you make of this? Should Ken be sanctioned? Should he be punished for speaking his mind?
You see, so when you are dealing with a political party made up of people who are very unprincipled, this is what you get. First and foremost, this is a party not long ago who were on the neck of security agencies, that even though some of the things that were being said by their own people were clear and were against the laws of the Republic, particularly section 207, 208 of our criminal code. And yet, they knew it. Some of the people who were speaking were lawyers. They said, no, the government has an agenda against free speech and that people should be allowed to speak freely, regardless. This is a man who has not even said anything close to what others have said. He is just saying the things he's been saying, and they've been cheering him on. In fact, for years, the man has said so many things. I mean, Honorable Kennedy, Japan, has said so many things, and they've applauded him. Some of which are inured to their political benefit. They won elections with them. What you may, whatever. I don't want to remind viewers of some of the things. Some cannot be said here. And they were cheering him on. In fact, when he was even arrested, look, they brought the whole of Accra to a standstill. The NPP. Why? But if you are one who would leave a dog for a tiger, when you nurture it, eventually you will see the trait. And it's up to you. You have to take whatever you brought up. You see, but in this case, this particular one, I don't even see any problem with it. But if this is how they want to go about it, it's their own cup of tea. What has the man said? And I'll refer to their constitution for you to understand if it breaches, and you can let's do that.
Well, they say he has violated Article 3
which is
of the NPP's constitution.
Which is what? What does it say?
It requires members to be truthful and loyal to the party and
it's not a quotation. I have
the party.
It requires members to be what?
To be truthful and loyal to the party. And to protect and promote the good name of the party.
Yes, but of course, the man, according to him, is saying the truth. He's not lying. He's not said he's lying. Who determines who is lying?
But that's his truth.
Yes, but I mean, everybody's truth, whatever others are saying, is their own truth.
Yes.
Who subjected this to any rigorous scrutiny to know who is telling the truth or not? Since when did this article become part of their constitution? We've heard what Abronya has been saying against this man and other people. Is Kennedy Japan no longer an NPP person? So if it is said against him, it's fine. That one is gospel. But if he says anything against any other person, that's where you draw the line. If you are expelling him, it's your own matter. We don't care. But for me, he said nothing that deserves this kind of attention. But if you want to grant him, to the extent that Samuel who wants to join this, he is experienced. This is how they want to. Look, this is a man what is he saying? Fact. Is it true that the NPP shamelessly did what they did at Afari? Some of their own people cannot even defend it. You've seen the videos that is going around. When Dr. Baumia said he's been assured that in 2022, the Afari project will be completed. The videos are all over. Dr. Baumia himself, as Vice President of the Republic. It is a fact, per the report, we don't have time, that the structure itself was over 90% complete. Just within 2 years. Because the construction actually started in 2014. What has been discussed before 2014 is not really the issue. But when it started, within 2 years, 90%, over 90% of the structure was put. And then you came, and this is a region that gives you the highest vote. In fact, all your political fortunes depend on this region. And you have the likes of Honorable and you free and co, who now are shouting on top of the roof that something needs to be done. They were in power for 8 years. What did you do? And they keep telling us it's not true that we didn't do anything. Tell us what you did. We brought this water, we brought this cap. Tell us. They always say that we did something. 90% complete for the architecture, just the biomedical installations and all that. Within 8 years, couldn't do. And you are telling us that it's due to some disagreements and whatever, which you couldn't resolve. And this government comes and is saddled with all this confusion. Now the contractor is claiming so much money. We need to go and find the money and go back to it. Then you go and take cutlasses when you don't even weed your own compound, your own place. I mean, you are not the people who clears the weed there. Yet you could take cutlasses, including some ladies I don't want to, who are members of parliament.
They're patriotic citizens.
And they just become patriotic. They weren't before.
Well, we cannot become patriotic at some point.
At some point.
Yes.
So they are now patriotic. We thank God that they weren't within the 8 years, but they are now. And then you walk there and you want just the optics because you think Ghanaians are dumb. And when the backlash comes and your own man is exposing you, then we feel Ghanaian. It should be celebrated. Your being has rather been patriotic because you know you failed. So in this particular instance, I celebrate Ken for coming up, even though his tradition is being disingenuous. He says, I will not. I will tell the truth for the people of Ghana.
But in telling the truth, he's ended up throwing his own party under the bus.
But so we are encouraging people to lie regardless, people to deceive the people of Ghana.
No, just keep quiet.
But why should we keep quiet?
Your party.
No, but you see, that's why I'm saying that since when things have been said, when he was saying things against other people, you celebrated him. Did you subject him to the scrutiny you want us to subject him to, whether he was speaking the truth or not? So you've not, because it's against you, and is that what their constitution says? That if it is against you, then you can activate the provision of the look. If you read their constitution, it defines this anti-party whatever behavior as a speed that undermines the party's unity.
Yeah.
Violates established codes of conduct and brings the party into disrepute. Tell me where this comes in. He says we failed the people of Ashanti region. But he's the only person who is saying. In fact, Dr. Baumia on some occasion when he was doing this, was it thank you to or whatever, he admitted to certain things that we didn't do this, we did. In fact, Dr. Baumia on a platform, he said he was even surprised to hear from, and I was shocked to hear from him. He said that at the time Ghanaians were suffering, they were doing certain things that did not inure to the benefit of Ghanaians. Post-mortem, you've lost election. People are telling you the truth that we failed this, we failed that. How is that supposed to be? So you should be quiet because you want Ghanaians to be deceived. He would not.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, what we are saying is this. Look, for me, if Ken is saying what he is saying, and this can land him in this trouble, I encourage them to proceed. Okay. Because the man is saying that next year he will tell us more. We are waiting. Let me even give you this. This issue of the 10%, he said, is that the reason they want to subject him to this? The man is saying that you people took the contracts and came to sell the contracts to him and other people and took 10% away. Is it true or false? Were you not in this country when the deputy finance minister came to parliament on the 10th day of March 2025, third day, and told the people of Ghana that we had conducted, the president had initiated a certain investigation into the Agenda 111, and the Auditor General's report, which is dated, which report is dated, I think, in March 2025, said that 35 contractors had taken a whopping $7.9 million, but failed to even turn up at the site. The This is what the Auditor General's report is saying. If they want prosecution, it will happen. Because you see, for you to take $7.9 million as mobilization and vote, it means that there are accomplices within the system. There is no way a contractor could take such a whopping amount and vote without the authorities, the public servants or the people, public authorities watch him to vote. It means that they are all accomplices. So if Ken is saying this, we are not surprised. But we want further details. And you see, if anybody quotes anything Ken may have said against NDC, the person may be would be misleading them. Because you sit here, if I ask you what pertains in Metro TV, you would be in a position to tell me more, but you can't tell me much about what happens in GTV or TV3. I will believe you if you speak about matters in Metro than elsewhere. So anybody who tries to equalize by saying he said this against you too, that's unfair. Right. Because he is within. Okay. We will believe him because he is with you. He said they came to sell the contract to him. Don't equalize, because as for us, he's not with us. He may be lying, but yours is within. Okay. So we will take it as the gospel.
Officers. One is straightforward. Mr. Samuel Tete has come to the age limit of his service, so he's retiring. So there's no qualms about it. Dr. Bosman Asari, he has been very specific in the reason why he's resigning. So he said that I think he has served Ghana in one particular capacity. Before he became the EC deputy chair, he was at the Department of Political Science. He was my former head of department. And then when NPP government came, he was appointed to that particular position. And he accepted, thinking that he's going to serve the country in another capacity. So I think he believes he has done it to the point that he wants to go back to academia. And I think in a lot of countries, usually, I think particularly Japan and other Southeast Asian countries, they usually want people who have served in the public sector with practical experience to go back to the classroom, because it's there that you are able to combine both theory and practice to be able to better shape and train the way our future leaders deserve to be trained. So if he believes that he's going back to academia, he stated it clearly that that's the reason why. Now, people are reading a lot of meanings into it, that NDC said when they come to power, they're going to sack him and then Jean. But if that is actually the reason that is pushing him, why is the EC chair herself not resigning? Right. You understand? If it was that kind of, there's a government pressure behind the scenes and that has pushed him, then why is the EC chair herself not resigning? And just like you've mentioned, there was another petition recently to get 2 deputies and the EC chair herself removed. And the president submitted it to the Chief Justice. And the Chief Justice found no, what's the name? Prima facie case against it. So if it was vindictive from government, though I understand perfectly that the judiciary is an independent institution, but also know that they can sometimes be a little bit of political influence. So if it was government-induced or government instigated, you will have seen that things will have worked very differently. So I believe that, like Felix Ofosu-Kwakye mentioned, Dr. Bosman Asare believed that it is high time he started serving this nation in a very different capacity, and government had no hand in it. But now, the difficulty has to do with the former Chief Justice, Justice Sophia Akuffo. As we were told, her resignation letter dated September 2025, last year. But she didn't state the reason why she's resigning. And then the Council of Elders pleaded with the president to hold on with the acceptance so that they can engage her and see if there are reasons that they can deal with so that she will stay. But I think that effort didn't yield much needed resource, and they had to give the president the green light to accept. So because she didn't clearly state why she is resigning from the Council of State, it has opened up a lot of speculations, both positive and negative. Some people mention that it is likely because she disagreed with the Council of State decision regarding when they were going to move the former Chief Justice Getu Tokono, and her open disagreement. No, sorry, I think she disagreed in camera when she was asked to testify before the Article 146 committee, and then the subsequent reportage of this thing. So people believe that if that is the case, then you have no bearing to represent or sit in this particular committee. And there's also, I've heard funny reasons. I've heard people saying that, oh, she has been made a queen mother in her hometown, and that is going to take much of the toll. Yeah. I think because she didn't specifically state the reason why, it has opened up a lot of speculation around that issue. But one thing has to be clear, that we are in a democratic era, and there has been a clear demonstration of the respect for democratic principles and individual rights and liberties under this government, and people have the right to freely associate and to freely self-determine where they want to live their life. So one thing that is very clear in all the resignation is that those people did it at their own will, and there hasn't been any pressure from governments or government quarters whatsoever, and I wish all of them well moving forward.
Would it be far-fetched or inconceivable, or you think that would be illogical for anybody to surmise or to even think that the reason why Justice Tokonu, the reason why Sophia Kufu resigned was because she was unhappy, or she had a disquiet or her misgivings about how the processes that led to the removal of Justice Tokonu. So as a matter of principle, she decided that, look, I don't want to belong here, because as we played the tape we played earlier, she gave us the reasons why she thought that something was fundamentally wrong with the process or the procedure. Do you think it will be far-fetched? It will be wrong, or it would be a beggar's belief for anybody to think that way?
I think a lot of people who know her,
especially when you look at the timing, it both happened in September.
A lot of people who know her know that she's a very principled person, and she has defied all odds, including even petitioning. How do you call it?
Picketing.
Against his own political party. He has supported in the DDP case. We saw her come up strongly, speak for the underprivileged, and so she has been a very principled woman, if you know her. And I believe that if she believes, and she has openly, she hasn't hidden the fact that she wasn't happy with the processes that led to the removal of the former Chief Justice as a person. And she has stated it openly in interviews.
Yes.
So I believe that if she is a very principled person that we know her for,
in fact, when the Daily Guide reported that she had recused herself, was it recused or she was against it? You know, there was this report that Sophia Kufu was against it. I've forgotten exactly what the story was, whether she had recused herself, i.e. she wasn't part.
Whichever way it is,
whichever
she didn't support.
Yes, she didn't support it, you know. You know, as we speak, we still haven't heard her speak to that matter. Whether indeed, as was reported, whether indeed what the publication said was actually true. She still hasn't spoken on it.
So what I believe is that as an individual with principles, I believe that if she is not in support of a process or any thing that contradicts her personal principles, she may resign. But the fact is that she has left all of us in a dilemma because she didn't state it clearly in the resignation letter, as Bossman Asare did. So we've had commentaries and interviews outside of what is stated in the resignation letter, maybe accusing the processes of not being fair or saying things that were contrary to the decision that has been taken. So I believe it would have done Ghanaians a lot of help if she had clearly stated the reason why but it is also at her discretion not to do that. But that also opens up the Pandora box for a lot of speculations. And I believe that most of the commentaries that she has given or interviews that she has run has been very tangential to the main resignation letter. And the engagement of the Council of State after her resignation letter was submitted, just to find out the reason why she resigned, and didn't yield much results. So I believe that it is now to herself and God why she has resigned. But until that is clearly stated, there will still be a lot of commentary and politicization around this issue. But one thing that is certain is the fact that government has no hand in this. Government hasn't pushed anybody, and I believe she did it at her own will, based on her own principles. And I think whichever way it is, the President of the Republic has now accepted the resignation. And I believe processes will start to place her in the Council of State.
Well, so somebody just sent to me, she abstained, just so we are, to be more clear or to be more specific, so she abstained. Now, the other issue is this, that Sofia Kufu was the, you can call it a lone voice in that room, 31 of them. And because of her disagreements that she had, based on which she abstained from the vote, that led to Tokonu's removal as Chief Justice. Now, and her subsequent public interactions on this matter, you saw that media engagement at the IEA forum. Do you think that her public disagreement with the processes should have morally stopped her from becoming a member of the Council of State, or would constitute a moral justification for her to say that, look, because I am not in favor of this, I am resigning? And then number two, if she did, but she resigned last year, September.
Yeah.
Why do you think that the government has kept this matter from us all the way? I mean, it's almost a year. That's about 10 months or so. Why is the government in communication machinery, why have they deemed it necessary now to come out and state it? In fact, just a day after the newspapers reported it, why have they kept it, from all of us till now? Why?
So on the first issue, I think democracy is about disagreement. And in a very healthy manner.
Yeah.
It's competitive. We competitively disagree to be able to make decisions, to be able to move this country forward. So out of the 31 Council of State members, if she was the only one in certain, there have been other issues that she has agreed with the other 30 members, right?
Yeah.
And there may be issues that she may disagree. And I believe there may be issues that other members will also disagree.
True.
So I think that is the beauty of democracy. And I don't think disagreement based on principle or based on the facts of the matter is something that will prompt somebody to resign. So I suspect that the decision to disagree in itself, based on principle and facts, in itself doesn't amount to resigning.
Okay.
So I believe there may be another reason why she still don't want us to know. But on the second bit of the delay response, my understanding is that when the resignation letter was tendered in September 2025, the Council of State actually prevailed on the president to delay acceptance so that they will engage her and find out the reasons why and see whether it is something that they can resolve so that she will still remain part of it. And I believe that effort has dragged for, or whichever number of months that they have engaged.
That's a tad long.
So I believe this came into the public domain because they had not given the president the go-ahead that maybe our effort is not yielding the kind of results we had intended. So I think you can now go ahead to accept. So I believe it was when the president accepted it that it now became news and then it is out there. So at that particular point in time, if the news had broken, then it would have been, and later on, the Council of State members were able to convince her, maybe to rescind her that decision, then it would have been a kind of double reportage. I believe that may be the reason why there was a delay in communicating whatever was going on, up to the point that the Council of Elders team now believed that this is what we wanted, or this engagement, I think, can no longer continue because of this and this. So we now beg the president and give him the go-ahead to accept. So it was when the president has accepted, based on the advice of the Council of Elders member who were engaging, I believe that's not the reason why it is made public.
So, Prof, as a mere mortal, because I don't work at the Council of State, I don't work at the Presidency, I'm only a Ghanaian and a journalist. We're here interrogating the issues. If it's had to take close to about 10 months for us to get to the bottom of this matter, what I can guess is there's been a back and forth. Because this exercise of wanting to find out, why do you want to go? What's the issue? Can we help you? It's not something that should take 24 hours. But it's taken us 10 months for us to find out. Does that suggest that there are issues?
Yeah, I suspect so. She will not resign if there are no issues.
Yes.
There are issues, or there may be issues.
I mean, as in graver issues than we actually think.
Maybe something that she believes even the public don't have to know.
Right.
Maybe for now. Maybe in later years, she may make it known if there are actual issues. but it could also sincerely be that there are no issues. He just resigned on a matter of principle.
10 months.
And we are now finding issues.
10 months.
So I believe, I'm not sure, but my colleague here is a very good expert in conflict resolution and mediation.
Yes,
it does.
That's true. Yes.
Sometimes it takes time.
Yes.
It takes time.
Especially, we've decided
you're also a lecturer in conflict. So, as a lecturer in conflict, he also understands the area very well.
So it takes time.
Yeah.
So I believe maybe in very sensitive cases like this. So I think as long as the back behind the scenes channel was exhausted, and they finally believe that no, maybe we can't keep dragging this issue, or maybe it is not appropriate to let the president know what is going on. I think it was based on this that the president now took the firm decision to accept.
Well, it's possible that she said, give me time to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's had to take us 10 months. Mike, you don't care. What do you think? What's been going through your mind?
I mean, I like the way that we've been able to dissect this here, and now let's dissect it there.
Okay.
To look at the other side. He has spoken on some of the matters which were speculative, and because we don't have the reason. And also, if you look at Mr. Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, he's also mentioned perhaps. But before we go on to Madam Sophia Ekufu, I'll just have a quick bite at the resignation and the retirement of the EC deputy commissioners. It's in line with their work. The retirement of Mr. Samuel Tete was due, and he's retired, graciously, and everything has gone well. And I think we wish him the best of luck. Then we have Mr. Bosman Asari, who has decided voluntarily to retire to go into academia. I think that if he had wanted to avoid the threats that were coming to him from NDC, which I would say empty threats, no basis, no grounding, he stood and was ready to deal with whatever charges. But then the Council of State, the Chief Justice, and all the various parties who were involved looked at the case and saw that it was frivolous. No prima facie case to answer, and so it was thrown out. After his dignity was restored, he then voluntarily decided that he was going to resign. And for that to kudos, and we wish him the best of luck as he goes to join or replace my brother here, who may have come into the deeper political waters from the lighter academic sphere. Now, Sophia Ekufu, I just want to give a certain background to the lady so that we know who we are talking about. Then later we see what are we talking about. I mean, this is a woman of great honor, a lovely woman who has achieved a lot, and she is an exemplary woman of Ghana. We want such women of valor, women to be our mothers, our forebears, people who set examples for us to follow. A woman who went to Wesley Girls School, went to Legon University, our own beloved university here, and then after that to Harvard University, achieved so many things. And in fact, contrary to what some people would try to label her as, she's a woman of mixed achievements, in that she was appointed to the Supreme Court by President Rawlings, and then that was all the way in 1995. And then she went through the system and was later made Chief Justice by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And I want to make this clear that she is not related to Nana Akufo-Addo. The name Ekufu is one of the most widespread names in the whole Ekuapem region. I'm sure every 7th or 10th person is Ekufu. So please, we should not have that thing. There's Ekufu, there's Addo. Nana Akufo-Addo's own happens to be the surname combined, Ekufu na Addo. And what we call a double-barreled surname. So otherwise, he'll be related to every Addo in that place. People like Gloria Kufu and all the rest are not related to him. They may bear the same surname and may have some connection by way which in Ghana, all of us do have some sort of connection whatsoever, but they are not close or family related members. So Gloria Kufu is a woman of her own right. And by virtue of her long serving and the way that she's worked in areas like the Commonwealth, in various roles, whether it came to arbitration and so on and so forth, after being appointed from 1995, Georgina Wood was leaving. So once the Chief Justice Georgina Wood was leaving, she was looked at as one of the best alternatives to be Chief Justice. And I think even because of her age, she wasn't there for long.
Yeah.
But very qualified woman, very respected woman, and she was appointed to the bench as the Chief Justice under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So that background needs to be made clear. Now, this is a woman of principle. As Chief Justice, I don't think we ever had one controversial matter. I don't think the NPP attacked her, the NDC attacked her. She did her work right in the middle and everything went well. Eventually she left. And we remember her as somebody who picketed against the very same president who appointed her. So she does things as a matter of principle. She went picketing for the DDEP matter. And in her opinion, it should have been handled differently. Of course, subsequently, we have seen ministers of this current government who have actually said that the DDEP, even though unfortunate, was most necessary at the time. Because sometimes you need to cut off a finger to save the whole limb, as we know in surgery. Even sometimes with things like diabetes, you may have to chop off a leg to save the rest of the human anatomy. Yeah. So this was an unfortunate situation, but as somebody would describe it, a necessary evil, even though it shouldn't have happened. But under the circumstances, and after the corona, and after the various challenges, this was something that was proposed and came ahead. But she was entitled, as a matter of principle, which is the main point, that she disagreed, and she didn't just disagree in her bedroom, she went publicly picketing. So, by extension, this woman was now a former Chief Justice, and a new Council of State was being arranged. We all know, if you look at Article 89 of the Constitution, the composure of the Council of State members. One, a former Chief Justice.
You mean the composition?
Yes, the composure of it. The composition of it, yes.
Composition
How
of
to
it,
compose it. So you need the Chief Justice. You need to be able to compose it with former IGP. You need to be able to add a current president of the National House of Chiefs. And therefore, I disagree that if she's a Queen Mother, she can't be there. If the current national president of the House of Chiefs can be a member, he's a chief. So any Queen Mother or chief can qualify to still be there.
No,
so we can put...
but that's a slot for him.
No, good. But I'm saying that being a chief doesn't stop him from being a Council of State member.
No, yes,
so he's able to perform both functions. So a Queen Mother too can perform both. So being made a Queen Mother, if that is the case. Yeah. I was just dealing with that aspect. Just, we are trying to understand the thing in depth. So
maybe. The issue about the speculation that perhaps she wants to not just take up her new role as the Queen Mother of somewhere.
If she has made a Queen Mother,
that's what I'm saying. There's speculation. Perhaps the argument has to do with what she wants to focus on, rather than the legality.
No, and I'm trying to say that you don't need to focus on Queen Mother to resign from Council of State. Because even the composition of the Council of State itself has the president of the National House of Chiefs as a member.
No, I get it.
It's a qualified member to be a chief, and a senior chief for that matter.
I get it.
Who may have even more duties and responsibilities and a bigger jurisdiction or kingdom than a Queen Mother of sorts.
Right.
So that is what I'm enjoying.
That is a qualification criteria for the chief. Right? But in her case, she's coming in on the back of a former Chief Justice. So she may decide as an individual that if I want to do well in my new role as a chief, if that is actually
that is the case. Yes.
So it could be a personal decision that I want to focus more on this than that.
Yes. Even though once again, I rebut that. Because you see, you come in there in your role as a former Chief Justice to lend certain advice in that regard, not as a chief.
Right.
So you can still perform your functions as a Queen Mother and be on the Council of State. It doesn't stop it at all.
It's a fair point.
Yeah. Right. Then she made her picketing. Everybody was hailing her, especially the NDC. They were very excited. My brother is smiling. They were very excited that she's a woman of principle. At that time, nobody mentioned that she's Nana Akufo-Addo's cousin or anything rumored or false. You understand? We sit in this town.
It was mentioned, but the context.
No. I'm saying that at that time, the NDC found her a woman of principle.
Yes.
And not a relation of Nana Akufo-Addo.
No, it was mentioned, but in a different context.
Oh, no. It wasn't. No, I'm saying that.
Just 1 second. 1 second. Remember that at the time, the conversation in some quarters,
yes,
especially with the listen to the likes of Martin People and some NDC communicators were saying that even Nana Akufo-Addo's relative is protesting against him. That's the context you have. So not as in.
For me, I heard more of the Nana Akufo-Addo's appointee, former Chief Justice,
that's another angle.
Exactly. They didn't remember.
So there was a mention, but not what you're saying.
Yes, and of course, that I've told you that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But the context in which they referred to her was that as a former Chief Justice of the current president, she's against it by principle. They were very excited. Then comes an event that will also answer some of the reasons for the delay. We need a former Chief Justice. Who were the former Chief Justices available? Former Chief Justices available were Eni Yeboah and Sophia Akufo.
Yes.
They didn't want Eni Yeboah.
Oh, but there's also Georgina Wood.
No, and Georgina Wood, yes. So these three, yes. So we'll come to that even. Because now after that there's two. And Georgina Wood. Thank you for adding that. So they were very comfortable with the picketing Chief Justice, who in their opinion is a woman of principle. Why are you smiling? Let's talk about it. They like the picketing. So the picketing Chief Justice, they forget that she will come and picket on Tokonu. They forgot. So in her principled stance of picketing, they chose her to the Council of State. Amen. Good job. So she's then, remember, her criteria is still a woman of principle, a woman of this, a woman of that, a woman of that. Then when she became a member of the Council of State, one of the things which were an eyesore to her, and to many Ghanaians till today, the framed up removal of Justice Tokonu. In fact, she went to the extent of giving evidence in the case, and not just her, Eni Yeboah as well, also a former Chief Justice, and said those kind of expenses that they are trying to pin on the woman as something which is corrupt, she took some. Eni Yeboah took some. And even went to make references to Georgina Wood and others who were not there. It's something normal. You can't frame it to be something against her. And that this is virtually a witch hunt and is wrong. Now she's picketing from the Council of State. All of a sudden, she's not principled. She's not somebody who speaks truth. She's not somebody who's looking at the thing that, despite the fact that she has been appointed by President Mahama, she's saying that what is happening under the President Mahama regime is wrong. Yet, appointed by Akufo-Addo, I know you're in a hurry to come in tomorrow, but you listen for a minute, it will help you. It was something that was being done under Nana Akufo-Addo, who appointed her. And she went against the tide. In the same era, President John Mahama appointed her as the Chief Justice, and she was also going against what was happening and saying that as for this, I have to swim against the tide. And she gave her reasons, even which were exemplary, by using herself, the same principled picketing judge. All of a sudden, as they say in P, in Kofuti, people are rolling on the ground, complaining, why is she like this, why is she like that, and so on and so forth. It became an issue. But moving forward, she went ahead, stated her case, and after that, the Tokonu matter was decided in September 2025. Now we are told 10 months later, and you rightly said, it is the media who released this information first, before the government scrambling behind the scenes came to also say, yes, it's true, this was 10 months ago, but we're trying to talk to her to change her mind and see if there could be some kind of negotiation. Again, you rightly said, within the spirit of conflict, does it take 10 months to change somebody's mind when they want to resign? 10 months. Bosman Asare has just resigned and says he will leave on 31st July. It is out. As was rightly said by the comms head, that yes, the information came out, so they've also come to tell us, and that we wait, it's just 31st July.
Right.
The woman resigned with immediate effect. Immediate. And yet it took us 10 months. My issue, and that's why I was referring to two, that's why I forgot about Madam Georgina Wood. Are they in a quagmire? Is the delay because now the government is left with Eni Yeboah and Georgina Wood to appoint, and so they are dragging their feet. They don't have any of them who has a reference of picketing. So they are not too comfortable with who they should choose. Why are we always looking in the lenses of politics? Look, I am telling you, a judge may be appointed by Rawlings or may be appointed by a Kufuor, but that judge is not going to speak for that party. We should remove it. Look, the current Justice Bafo Boni, who they have appointed, who appointed him? Was it not President Kufuor? And today you find him fit to be Chief Justice. So they should not fear. They should go for men of principle, no matter who appointed them into the Chief Justice role or even as justices. Because I don't think Georgina Wood was appointed by Kufuor. She was appointed only as CJ, but was appointed as judge by Rawlings. So, President Mahama, be bold. Don't waste 10 months leaving gaps and vacuums, because the Council of State is not so properly constituted as per Article 89 at present. With the absence of such a woman, all the times you'll be sitting between now and then for the 10 months, in fact, you should be struck off. Yes, because all these 10 months, they've not followed the Constitution. They've met and sat and decided in the absence of Article 89 2B. If you look at Article 29 2B talks about the National House of Chiefs, and the Article 29 2A. We are looking at all the various offices here. 1, it says a person who has previously held the office of Chief Justice. So once you don't have that there, A, B, and it's talked about, your meetings are all void ab initio. So, President Mahama, please take this thing serious. Now you have been exposed by the Fourth Republic, and we thank you, the media, for doing that, because otherwise, as for NDC, we have a government where a Minister of Defense has died, most unfortunately. I mean, as for me, everybody knows my relationship with Omani Boama. It's personal friendship and personal relationship. And so is Mutala. Mutala is the kind of person who can call me in office. Moro, you know, me and you and Mutala are very close.
Yeah.
And I can do things for Mutala personal level. It's not about politics. They've passed. Up to now, President Mahama, you can't put in a Minister of Defense. You can't put in a Minister of Defense. And we are claiming that this place is being looked after under caretaker at Tufosin. And Buddha Jemfi is sitting there virtually not doing much. That's me twiddling his thumbs and waiting. Please, let us be up and doing. When we have a vacuum in the government, for example, if we have a vacuum in presidency or vice presidency, we expect it to be filled with alacrity so that we know that the government is working. So this 10 months that the woman has been out of office, it really makes the place empty. And there's no space that shouldn't be filled under the Council of State to make sure that it is a constitutionally viable position. Then we know that when they meet, they have met according to the Constitution, not according to the NDC delays, not according to the president's whims and caprices. When he likes, he will appoint somebody. No. As for that one, it is a constitutional requirement, and he must quickly fill it to make this thing happen. So for me, I think that she's within her rights to resign. As my brother said, yes, she's within her rights to resign. If she doesn't agree with the principle, I think in Ghana, unlike most countries abroad, we don't have people resigning on principle. You can also protest on principle, depending on how you want to look at it. All I would want to say is that she has shown us that she's a woman of dignity, but I want the government to look at it, as they've given her perhaps on one side, that one of the reasons why a very prominent Ghanaian has defended and resigned on that matter is the removal, the most unfair removal of the Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo. And this matter has now come to light that she resigned in the same month. Now, I remember you asking that question. Is it a coincidence? I say no. I think it follows because her actions, this is a woman of action. Her actions prior and her actions subsequently have shown that she's not a noisemaker, but she's a woman of action and somebody who believed that most unfortunately she didn't agree with what had happened. And many Ghanaians disagree with this. And these are matters that, by the grace of God, will be tackled in future. And we need to tighten certain aspects to prevent it from ever happening again.
All right.
Can I?
Yes, please come, Prof.
So, I think my brother has made a very good submission, except that he started very well, except that at the last minute, he did a very good politics. I think the former Chief Justice hasn't stated in her letter the reason why she has resigned. And that opens up the door for a lot of speculations. And the speculations definitely is going to be influenced largely by the interests of the one speaking. So I think we are all making conjectures based on maybe what we believe in and what we think could have been the reason why. On the issue of the delayed response, I don't think it was because maybe the government is not pleased with the existing former chief justices in the country. And I don't think that statute has changed. It's still the same people, right? And why is it that the president has now made it known that the former chief justice has resigned from the Council of State? So I don't think it's because of that particular reason. I largely believe that it was because of behind the scenes negotiations as requested by the Council of State to see why she resigned and what can be done about it. On the issue of the quorum, my brother mentioned that all these things that have been taken should be quashed. But I think he's a lawyer and he understands that the Council of State has a quorum for taking decisions and the quorum for sitting. And the fact that one person just resigned does not mean that the Council of State cannot function. I'm not sure, but you can check maybe Article 92 of the Constitution and perhaps the Council of State Act 2020 Act. I'm not sure about that, but it says that the quorum threshold for determining a case is more than half of all total members present. So if you check, it says that a matter cannot be proposed for a vote or determined unless more than half of all total members are present. And the majority will say that except where otherwise specified by the Constitution, the majority vote of the members present and voting carries the decision. Mm-hmm. So I believe that, so assuming maybe she had passed and we still hadn't been able to replace her. So it means the Council of State will not function up to the time that some. So I believe the Constitution makes flexibility for cases like that. That's why there's, for example, even in Parliament, we have a quorum for sitting, quorum for taking decisions and all those. It doesn't mean that all the MPs have to be present. So I believe that the fact that she had resigned
But I guess the argument she was making is not about the numbers that the Council of State would need to first of all sit and subsequently take decisions where they have to. I think the matter he was, and as if I understood what he was saying, and which
the
is
importance of her position.
No, not even the importance of the position. He says the council. Look, do you also smell sabotage from? We say it as a political science person. Do you smell sabotage, or you think that this is vintage Ken? Allow him to speak. Ignore him.
Thank you very much, and I like hearing my friend talking. That was so eloquent and nicely put. Honorable, thank you very much. A gentleman went and put something on a poster that says that, with a picture of the president, says Dumso is back. The next day, he's with BNI, National Security, not even the police, to come and answer for that. Honorable Kennedy Japan goes out and says that in this government, somebody has come to give a contract of 500 million to the wife and has asked that the wife should give what 10%, and she refused. Why is nobody interested in that? Where are the warriors of oral? Where are the warriors of good governance? Where are the warriors of integrity? The man has said it. He says, in this government, in this oral government, some people within the government have come to even me, they've said come with 500 million. Do you know how many big push projects that can do? But bribe me with 10%. The police have not invited him for answering. National Security has not invited him for answering. Nobody in the NDC is saying anything. But a man put a picture of the president on the billboard, say Dumso is back, he's detained, he's facing trial. I want you to understand how this government prioritizes what it thinks are important to it. That the picture of the president saying Dumso is back is a national security concern. But a 500 million alleged bribe, that one is nothing. We'll leave that to Ghanaians. Who were the men and women behind that contract, and where are they? Why are we not investigating that? Number one. Two.
Should the investigation also cover the Agenda 111?
In fact, it should go beyond that. It should go beyond that. Remember, let me tie that into it. Okay. The road minister, the road minister has come out to tell us that so many people are also taking money to go to contract, they've not gone to the site. Who are they? Who gave them the money? Why were they giving the money? And why are they not aside? That is part of the what? You remember when they came and said single source or whatever contract? Part of it. If you go and give a multi-million-dollar contract to a wheelbarrow contractor and he's not aside. No, I'm still staying with it. So good. I'm staying with Ken. I'm staying with Ken. So I'm saying about he made a point. He made a point. He actually made a point. He said, literally was saying that the popular Ghanaian saying, if a frog comes up, the water, blah, blah, blah. Well, Canada Japan is saying that people within this government came to him. He kept his wife.
Is he with that?
He know. Oh, but honestly, I respect him when he talk. I just say. So they came to him.
Well, put me right.
So people within the government came to him and his wife, and said, "Here's a $500 million contract. Take and give us our kickback." Who are those? So I'm waiting for Ken to sing. Honestly, I can't wait for. I don't think. I think 27 is too far. But he can go there. He should sing. In the songs he will sing, he should make sure that the names of these men and women too are mentioned. Okay. The name of these people too are mentioned, so that we'll add it to the song and see whether we are money we're dancing. That's the first thing. The second thing, let's go back to this. You read a statement by Samuel Oku.
Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Samuel.
Sabotage.
It is obvious and it is clear that there are certain religious and tribal bigots outside there who will not want to see a Muslim as president of this country.
Really?
There are certain religious and tribal bigots there who will do any and everything to sabotage the will of the people. As a society, once in a while, we need to call them out. And for me, if your idea against a candidate or against a person is rooted in this hatred, in this sabotage, then you are not good for this country. Those do exist, and we must begin being honest and transparent in how we talk about these things.
And Ken is one. Sorry, I want to follow you. Because we are talking about Ken.
I was just waiting.
You are talking about Ken. I'm talking about religious and tribal bigots in our government.
Help us.
Who are those who gave the money to Ken?
Who gave money?
Ken said people came and gave him a contract for money. Who are they?
No, his wife, not him.
No, his wife. To his wife. So who are they? Who are they?
No, he said you people have taken the 10%. The man is with you.
Honestly, you are allowing him. There was a reason why.
Investigation should come.
There's a reason why. Moro. There's a reason why I did not heckle him.
Thank you. You proceed.
Okay. But you are allowing him
$7.9 million.
If you please, I'm actually good at heckling.
Don't worry.
I'm very good at it.
Please. He won't do that again.
I wanted to assist.
Yes, he promises never to do that.
And so our body politics has gone beyond that.
Right. But he wants clarity.
He wants I don't owe him clarity. I'm just saying.
I don't owe him. Talked about the tribal.
I'm saying that they have. I've said that. Okay. I mean, they are.
Is Ken one of them?
I don't know.
But context is key.
I understand, but I'm contextualizing what I'm also saying. What I'm saying is that
why don't you call a spade a spade? If you think
if you think that's it, I'm not saying it. I'm just telling you what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there are tribal religious bigots outside there who are also saboteurs and who will do everything to make sure you don't see a Muslim as president of this country. They are there. I've said that. That's what I would say. I'm not struggling to say it.
Okay.
They are there. Good. So we must understand those things and make sure that as a country we've evolved, as a country we've grown, as a country we've gone beyond that. And that it is important that when issues like this happen, we summon our better angels. We don't degenerate into our worst fears. We We've got to do that. We owe that to this country, we owe that to this generation, and we owe that to say that a man's character, a wife should be judged based by his merits, based by what he has done, not which God he prays to and how he prays to, and not his geographical locations. We ought to do that. Until we do that, if we sit down and we think that because of political expediency, let us engage in this, and because it will not be doing ourselves good and will not be doing this country any good. That is what I want to say.
But these bigots you're talked about have always been who they are.
Exactly. And it is important that we also keep reminding decent-minded Ghanaians that they do exist. And they come in different forms and in different shapes. And that we should let it be there. It's there. We should add it to the public discourse. Let me go. If not, let's go back. There's something about Afari hospitals, Afari clinics.
Yes.
And I think the other day is the Honorable Collins, what's his name, in Parliament, Adumako also. Collins Adumako, who on another show with one of the, a colleague MP, I think Honorable Vandi, asked the question. But for me, I don't want to go there. There are records. And you see, there was this document running around the whole of last week about parliamentary proceedings, about the first budget that this government submitted.
Right.
And about a portion of the budget, literally, the finance minister was saying that Afari Hospital is 98% complete. That is, you are from a house of records. That is in the record. The record states that, and this is not a record that is by Honorable Anta, who says
but that's not wrong.
Please, again, I will do you some.
Don't worry.
I will do you some.
You talk.
I'm putting on record, I will do you some.
I'm helping. I'm just helping.
In the House of Records, saying that the hospital is 98% complete. I've also heard the minority, the ranking member on health, I think that is Honorable Professor Bayu, saying that they only need to send water there, they need to construct the roads, and then they need to get power there. 3 things. He says, with those things, they can be open. This is where we are. So for me, what he says tie in with what is in the record in Parliament that is 98% complete. So if a hospital is 98%, and if the only 3 things the hospital needs are utilities to complete, these are public utilities, those are things that the state the state can provide to succeed. Look, all this thing came around as a result of what? A strike action or in CAT. So the question that I ask is that during COVID, if you remember, what's his name? UGMC was not completed.